I would make sure I go to school very early, make sure I was among the first in class, just to avoid the idea of being seen by others as I get into class. So I'll make sure I go to school very early, sit on my desk, be the first one, be amongst the first ones. Because the idea of getting into class when everybody else was seated, I couldn't stand that. And if that happened, I would get into class facing downwards. Because I was very shy during that time. And the reason why I used to be very shy is because I was raised by a single mother. And so sometimes I wondered, why don't I have a father like my fellow pupils? Because majority of the pupils, or rather my classmates, had both parents or had a father. And so I would wonder, is it because God hates me so much? Is it because I'm unfortunate? Is it because I'm unlucky? You know? So that led me to having low self-esteem. Are we together?
Yes.
And so I struggled with it. But later on in life, I actually came to realize and understand that it was God's perfect plan for me to have been raised from that background. It was God's perfect plan for me to hail from that kind of family setup. It wasn't my fault. I used to hate myself, blame myself, but I actually came to realize that was God's perfect plan for me. So I started appreciating myself, loving myself, right? And that's how, with time, I dealt with low self-esteem. Are we together?
Yes.
So I'm talking about this, I'm sharing my story because I understand I'm talking to pupils who could be going through the same, some of you. It may not be you struggling with low self-esteem, but other social issue, and that's why we are here to share, to talk with you and see how can you be able to overcome such kind of challenges, such kind of emotional challenges that you go through as young adults. Are we together?
Yes.
So I would like us to pray before we can continue. Let us close our eyes and pray. Our Heavenly Father, we adore you, we exalt you this morning. We thank you for your love and care. Thank you for this far that you brought us. Thank you for this new day that you've given unto us. This is the day that you have made, that we may rejoice in you. We pray the Lord, as we start off this session of mentorship, may you be the center of everything that we shall talk and say. I pray the Lord, you may use me as a vessel to deliver that which these children should learn and understand today. May you have your way, may you be with us until the end of these sessions that you're going to have today. We shall glorify your name and say thank you. And it is in Jesus' name we do pray.
Amen.
Can you say a bigger amen?
Amen.
Can you say a bigger amen?
Amen.
Yeah, so I wanted us to touch on self-awareness, or rather self-identity, a little bit. And I want us to refer to the scriptures in the Bible, the book of Jeremiah, chapter 1. I think it's verses 5. If you get it before me, you can read for us. You can stand up, come forward and read it for us. Jeremiah, chapter 1, verses 5. The one that says God was speaking to Jeremiah and telling him, before you were conceived in your mother's womb, I knew you, and I appointed you to be a prophet. Before you were conceived in your mother's womb. Is it Jeremiah 1:5 or is it Jeremiah 5:1? Before you were conceived in your mother's womb, I knew you, and I appointed you to be a prophet. So just the way I've shared my story, some of us come from very different family backgrounds. Are we together? You may have hailed from a family setup whereby you have both parents, a single mother or a single father, or you've been raised by your guardian. It's important that you understand that it's in God's perfect plan for your life. It's not your fault because you have no control over it. Are we together? So don't hate yourself, don't blame yourself, appreciate and thank God for that, because God has a purpose attached to it. Sawa sawa? Yes. Don't allow yourself to be, to struggle with low self-esteem issues simply because you come from a family background that you don't like, that you feel like you don't deserve it. Just understand the fact that you don't have control over it. It was in God's perfect plan, and take it positively. Are we together? And thank God for it. The fact that you are born, just like God was telling Jeremiah, that before you are conceived in your mother's womb, your parents may not have a plan for you, may not have planned for you, but God had a plan for your life. So, be reminded this morning that God has a good plan for your life. Do what you can. You're in school at this time, you're supposed to focus on your studies. Focus on your studies, do your best, and leave the rest to God. Are we together?
Yes.
Are we together?
Yes.
Yes. So we are going to shortly touch on self-awareness as I wait for my colleague. Self-awareness is being aware of who you are. Being aware of who you are, understanding your strengths, your weaknesses, your abilities, your capabilities. Because at this age, we talked of, this is the time you are about to transition from primary to junior high school. In junior high school, as you go there, you'll go face different kind of people. There'll be challenges like peer pressure. So if you don't know who you are at this point or at this stage, you may find it difficult to be able to make choices that are in line with what you want for your life. Based on the visions you have, the goals you have. I believe you all have goals, right?
Yes.
I believe you all have goals. If I was to ask everybody here, you would tell me, maybe I want to become a doctor, a pilot, an engineer, and so on and so forth. Because you're not just in school to pass time. There is a reason why you are here. Yeah? Are we together? Yes. So being aware of yourself is being aware of the career path you like to take in life, your strengths and weaknesses, and capitalizing on them. Being aware of who I really are in terms of my values, my morals. I believe your parents teach you morals back at home. And even when you go to church, if you're a Christian, if you are a Muslim, there are those values that you're taught. So uphold those values. Never forget. Never forget the values you're taught here in school. Are we together?
Yes.
Because at this age, if you mess around, you might make choices that could distract you, that could make you make choices that you'll regret for the rest of your life or in your future lives. Are we together? Yes. So be aware. Why am I in school? And do exactly that which has brought you to school. At this point when you're a teenager, understand, I'm a teenager for a reason. Appreciate yourself as a teenager. Allow yourself to go through the process of teenagehood positively. Embrace this stage, this growth stage, because it's a stage of transition. You're transitioning from being a child to young adult. Are we together? Yes. Take it positively. Don't mess around. Don't be swayed into doing the wrong things, for example, like engaging into drug abuse, and I believe we shall talk about that in details. Don't engage yourself into relationships that are going to distract you from focusing on your studies. Are we together? Yes. Always remember who you are and where you are, no matter what. Are we together? Yes. At this juncture, I'd like to welcome my colleague who has arrived, so that he may introduce himself. Dr. Paul Wanderi. Hatujaendelea sana. We just had a short activity to set the pace for this session. And I told them I have a colleague whom we are waiting for. And now because you're here, come forward and introduce yourself.
Let's appreciate Madam.
Good morning.
Oh, thank you. Have a seat. Kuna wengine hako wamesimama, sijui sasa wasimame. Is it okay? Oh, it is well. Good morning again. As you are seated, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you. I want you, don't write. kindly don't write because we'll have a lot of time to write. I want you to listen because what Tabitha have said, I want to set the pace ya hii meeting. Now, na nitaongea Kiswa Sheng kidogo so that tuelewane. We are here for 2 or 3 hours. Tutakuwa na nyinyi for 2 to 3 hours. Na tuna expect tukiwa na nyinyi to address several areas. Number 1, now please don't write, the fact that you are pioneer students to junior secondary school. Pioneer ni kumaanisha this thing has never been there. So you are the starters to go to junior secondary school. Na unajua psychologically kitambo you are supposed to have gone to secondary school saa zile umemaliza class 8. So right now mko 12 na any other person just like you can have a lot of fears unaenda place you have never been. Because you may feel mentally you have not grown, psychologically you have not grown, because right now you are developing yourself. So lazima to address hizo issues. How do you cope in a new school and in a new system? I think that one tutakuwa tukiongea sana. Now we'll be expecting to separate boys and girls. And the reason as why we are doing this is because some of you will go to mixed schools, some of you will go to boys' school, some of you will go to girls' school. Can I see? Have you selected schools?
Yes.
Can I see by show of hand from boys? Oh God. Yeah. How many boys have selected mixed schools? Wow. You see what I'm talking about? How many boys have selected boys-only schools? Thank you. How many girls have selected girls' school only? How many girls have selected both mixed school? Now that's what we'll be talking about. Kwa sababu, sasa mtaenda hiyo shule, and I don't mean to use a little of Sheng, although we'll be a bit official tukienda. Sasa mtaenda hizo shule, the difference is that you'll meet some boys who are quite older than you. And when they become older, that means you find people who have already set a culture and a structure in that school. So tutakuwa tukiongea vitu kama hizo. Are there fears of monetization? Are there fears of adjustment? Vitu kama hizo. Another thing tutakuwa tukiwasaidia kujua, it is to appreciate CBC. Actually mngejua, as much as there are so many fears, and I think tutakuja to address those fears, there's no team that is more advantaged in society like you. Nilikuwa, you know, my son, sasa ndiko kako class 8. Now you guys mtakuwa mkicompete now 7 years from now. The good thing about CBC ni kuwa, you guys will not do KCSE. You guys, what you'll do, you'll be channeled either to become footballers, you'll be either channeled to become musicians, you'll either be channeled to become whatever you have always desired to become. That means if there is a team that has a great future for this country, it is you people. You see, watu kama sisi, we became what society told us to become. Ulikuwa unamaliza form 4, whatever you score ukienda university unasikia, although you wanted to become a lawyer, wanaanza kukwambia that you don't qualify to become a lawyer because of a grade. For example, hebu niwapatie a very funny story about me. By me, I had always dreamt to become a doctor. I wanted. Sijui kwa nini I felt I wanted to become a doctor. But when I finished form 4, biology, I had a D-. Acheni kunichekelea goja. Chemistry, I had a C. Sasa now I was looking at the qualification they needed for you to become whatever doctor you wanted to become. Biology lazima ungekuwa na B, na chemistry lazima ungekuwa na, and I think a B+ by then. But you see zenye niko nazo. Sasa zenye nikaangalia, I cannot become a pediatrician, I cannot become a dentist. The only doctor I can become is a witch doctor. You guys get what I'm talking about? Why? One, they never listened to my passion, they evaluated me from performance. The CBC is not so much interested on your performance, but your passion. And that is one of the things. By the way, hebu niwaambieni kitu kwa sababu nitakuja kuambia something. As you are going to school and as you are going to your career world, mtakuja kurealize na hii kitu nimerealize over time, there are 5 P's that determines what you will become in future. 5 P's. The first one and the most important one is called passion. Na mimi nitawaombea, as you go along your journey up, please listen to your passion. Passion is what I had always longed to become when I grow up. The second thing that you need to be so much careful about, na hizi vitu tutaongea about, is something that is called personalities. You realize when you mnaniangalia hapa, all of us have different personalities. For example, some of us are very talkative. Hata daro huwezi kosa noise making. Is it clear? Can I tell you, although from your teacher's perspective and from a prefect perspective, making noise could be a weakness, But I tell you, outside here, there are people who are paid by making noise. Somebody like Churchill is paid millions just because of making people laugh. So kuna kajamaa ndani yenu kanatuanga na jokes, au kajamaa kanaweza kuwa millionaire 10 years from now. I am not saying once jokes kutoka leo, I am only telling you it can come from something. There are also some careers that require silence. There are some people who are a bit quiet. The advantage of people who are a bit quiet is number one, they reason more than they talk. Why? They usually have time for what we call premeditation. And that is why there are some careers that requires people who are a bit quiet. One of the careers that may require that is medicine. Because mtu akikuja kwa hosi, alafu, you know, in a hospital, the person who should talk most is not the doctor, but what? The patient. Sasa kama wewe ni talkative, utakuta hata you are not giving the patient time ya kukuambia, unamuuliza mgonjwa wapi? Oh, na unahara. You see now you have already interrupted the patient. Because a doctor is one that's supposed to be patient and wait. There are also some careers that require you to be a bit keen. 3 of them. And by then, I think they're usually what we usually call in today's world the high-flying careers. Number one, as a lawyer. As much as a lawyer, you are supposed to be very talkative. But remember, in the court of law, how you present your facts is what matters a lot. By the way, right now, to the Supreme Court, are you aware that Kenya, we are in the Supreme Court? Yes. Because of our electoral laws? I don't know whether you are taking time to check what is happening. Between the lawyers and the judges, who are talking more? Yes. Exactly, because as a judge, you are supposed to make a predetermined decision on what you have heard. And that means being a quiet person is not a weakness. So I have talked number one of passion, number two I have talked of what? Personality. Sindio? So ujijue, please usiende tu kuchagua career ambayo hujui. And I think we'll be talking that because right now you are going to what is called junior secondary school. Mkishamaliza junior secondary school, that is grade 7, grade 8, grade 9. In the same school, the government will either take you to the same school or divert you to another different school and take you to what is called the senior secondary school, where now, kama you are a footballer, mtajikuta one of the school where footballers meet. Kama you are a musician, mtajikuta all the school of musicians. I think I'll be taking you through that levels, if that is how the CBC wants to be implemented. So there's nobody here that is lost. Ukiwa darasa zile mwalimu anafundisha wewe unajikutanga akifundisha wewe tu, it is not a weakness. That means it means you have a passion for music and we need to get direction for you. So what I want to assure you is that CBC is one of the most progressive, syllabus that you can ever have, but we'll be talking about the environmental fears that you may be having. Other than the personality, let's go to number 3. The third P is what we call the prevailing market. Now, please don't forget what I'm talking about. Prevailing market is what? You need to understand how the economy is going. Because by the end of the day, mukishamaliza shule kama venye sisi tulimaliza, you are coming to join the market. What do I mean with the market? You are coming to join the economy. Lazima ujiulize, career yenye nachagua, how will it be relevant for me 20 years from now? You see, for example, right now, and I don't know, do we have any person here whose dad or mom works in a bank? Do we have? Thank you. If you go and ask your mom and your dad, they'll tell you, nowadays, people are not even going to the bank to bank money. Through M-Pesa and through the phone, you can even transact from the bank as you are seated in the house. For example, do you know, mimi, account yangu ya bank, inakuanga KCB na Equity. So if I want to withdraw money today, I don't need to go to the bank. I just need to go to my phone, write *522#. Iniambie, how much do you want to withdraw? Have I gone to the bank? No. That means now what the banks are doing, any person who is employed by the bank is being nikutolewa because the customers are not coming, the customers are operating through the phone. And that's why tutakuwa tukiangalia niwaambie, even as you go on your journey up, and especially for junior secondary school, don't just also listen to your passion, also check what is called the prevailing market. Musikuje tena pursue careers, then they make you to remain jobless for the rest of your life. Check what I'm talking about. So passion is very important, but number 3, you also check what is called what? The prevailing market. The fourth one, and I think this is also very much important, is something that is called performance. Your teachers must have told you, na tutakuja kuambia when we'll be meeting with you, that please, the fact that there's no KCSE does not mean that performance is not required. Na mnajuanga even in CBC, there are also evaluations. Kuna kuanga exceeding expectation. What else? Meeting expectation. What else?
Approaching.
Exactly. What else?
Below.
Thank you. So if you can perform well, remember guys, in whether you like it or not, in the market, the people who are always the best are always the ones who are taken. Musidani ati just because you have a passion. You see, for example, right now, huku nje, and I'm sure you know this, there are so many footballers. So many footballers. Kuna watu wengi wanacheza football, but it is not all of them who make it to the Premier League. Why? In the Premier League, the people who make it there are the best. Is it clear? So lazima mjue guys, mkuwe careful na mkuwe serious. Every time mwalimu anawapatia exam kwa class, please remember performance is required. Kwa sababu one of the challenges to now in this country is that the secondary schools are not as many as what? The primary school. So utakuta, for example, if Alliance become a center of science and arts, the guys who will be going to Alliance are people who are the best. In terms of they have exceeded what? You come on, that's what I'm talking about. So guys, don't relax just by the mere fact that you're not doing KCP or what? Am I making sense? Yes. So number one, tukasema what? Passion. Number two, personality. Number three, tukaongea mambo ya prevailing market. Number four, the last one, which is very much important, and that is why every person goes through the career line, is the word pay. P-A-Y. P-A-Y. P-A-Y, pay. That any time you are going through the career ladder, it is always good to know what is the expected outcome. There is a story in the Bible, because I have found you talking about the Bible. There was these people, I think they were disciples, it must have been Peter, I'm not very conversant with that. Jesus found him fishing. And then in the morning Jesus asked him, Peter comes and complains to Jesus, I have fished for the whole night and I have not caught anything. You see, that man was talking out of frustration. I have fished the whole night and I've caught nothing. When Jesus saw his desperation, he told him, I think the reason as why you have caught nothing is because you are fishing on the wrong side. If you can throw your net on the right side, you can get more fishing. That's what I'm talking about. Nobody wants to fish the whole night and come out with nothing. Because by the end of the day, and I think Sazie, because we want to divide you, Sazie tutaenda tukiongea na to boys, our topic as boys is tomorrow you'll be a man. So 10 years from now as boys, you're expected to be a husband, you're also expected to be what? A father. Not a man. We are men, all of us. Is it clear? You're expected to be a husband and you're expected to be a father. So that means now unajua kuwa a husband and kuwa a man is not kushinda kwa how ukiwatch TV ukisema Afro cinema continues short. Is it clear? The children you'll one day get will require to go to school, will require to come to Mountain View, and you need to get money. And that's why boys will agree with me. That is why you rarely see your dad at home. It's not that he hates home. In fact, sometimes even your dad would even wish to be coming at home at 4. But what keeps your dad away from home is 5 words, 5-letter words. B-I-L-L-S. Andika yo, B-I-L-L. No, the boys only. Is it clear? The boys only. What word is that? Beans. Exactly. Because guys, and I'm so sure you know, when Adam was put in the Garden of Eden, before even Eve came, and that's why I wanted to talk to boys. I hope I'll be talking to the boys. Who can tell me the first thing that God gave man in the Garden of Eden, what was it? Huh? A companion, you are very wrong. Huh? Right? Very wrong. I'm talking of in the Garden of Eden. So there's no way he can be taken to the Garden of Eden if he was dead. Animals, you are very wrong. Sorry? Exactly. It is in Genesis chapter 2 verse 16 that God put Adam there to do 2 things. Number 1, to cultivate, and number 2, to guard. To cultivate the land and to do what? To guard. So do you know what is to guard? Babako lazima ana make sure. Number 1, to cultivate. Lazima every day analeta food nyumbani. Lazima every day anakulipia school fees. The second thing your dad does is to guard. And that's why one of the things I want to teach boys is to become warriors. A boy is a lion already. I want to teach you how to bring out the man in you. Ukienda high school, because at least for boys school, I will expect a little bullying and like for girls. I want to teach you how to learn to fight for yourself. Is it clear, boys? That is what it calls to be a man. So tutakuwa na session na boys, and then the last one I think we'll also be talking about what is called, now you guys are between 10 to 13 years right now, according to my own expectations. Najua right now, na tukue too honest, mmeanza kusikia tu changes kwa mwili yenu. Let's start with the boys, and I'm saying it in summary. Boys, you may not, what makes the difference between boys and girls is only one word that is called hormones. Hormones. Boys, ukishafika age 10, 11 and 12, kuna kahormone tu uko tu hivi very innocently, lakini kuna kahormone kingine naturally, you know, kanaambiaga mwili yako, this boy is now 10, 11 and 12. That hormone is called testosterone. Testosterone. Listen, don't write. ECN, I'm talking to everyone. Is it clear? But for girls, when your body clocks 10, 11 and 12, it is signals to the hormonal department that it tells them, this girl, Joyce, Joanne, is already 10, 11, 12. Can you release the hormone that girls who are between 10, 11 and 12 is released? It is called estrogen. Estrogen. Now, listen, please don't write. Nani, Tabitha will talk to you girls, me I'm talking to you generally before we go, because we want to separate right now. Tutaenda kuwatch to video tungine boys, so that mwache kuwa hivi shy. Is it clear? Now listen. Listen guys. Tumesema hormone for boys is called what? Testosterone. That hormone comes with 5 changes. 5 changes. Number 1, you have what is called the body changes. Utaanza to realize as boys, you will have some hair growing several parts. Hapa, na hapa. Is it clear? Ukizipata, that is normal. Hata saa zingine miguu yako, utaanza to realize your leg becomes hairy. Number 2, boys' body becomes hard. Hata ukigonga futa usikii kitu. Is it clear? Hata mtu anakuomba ni kama usikii uchungu. Why? The hormone makes the body to harden. Is it clear? Now, boys at night, and this one we are talking it, and please take it very kindly, although I will not extend a lot, is you realize this private part, allow me to call it John Kamau. This private part, allow me to call it that. I hope you don't have a boy called John Kamau, is it? No, there's a John. No, but it's not Kamau. This John Kamau area will become very troublesome. Yeah? Wow. We are almost separating. Thank you, teacher. Let's appreciate our teacher. Can I continue or can I stop? Continue. Sawa. And then we go. This praise, utajikuta, sometimes usiku, as you wake up in the morning, you find ako kaka John Kamau kamekataa kulala venye ulilala, kameamuka ako mapema. So we will talk about that. Is it okay? Tutaanza kutauliza, mbona nilifunga macho, nikaambia mwili ilale, na wewe John Kamau umeamuka? We will have to talk about that. For girls, we will also be talking a lot. But what we want to do because of time, Sinisawa, we want to have what is called a boys' talk. And I am the one to go with the boys. Is that okay? And we will talk a lot of, we'll be very open. And then as we talk, I'll have some little time with Tabitha outside here. So we want to separate. Me, I was requesting, if you don't mind, I wish to, boys laugh outside nature. That is the nature of boys. I wanted to have boys here and the girls to read. Okay, let me ask a question. Between boys and girls in this class, who are many? Let me give the teachers, Kureni sorry kidogo, as your teachers give me advice on the way forward. The camera guys, the people, sorry? Or we go with the boys? Boys, is it okay, boys? I have to respect your teachers. Boys, tusonge.